Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
The New York Jets have extended Sauce Gardner. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Tuesday, July 15th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far today. This is episode 570 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you as always for joining me. For those tuning in on YouTube, make sure to please like and subscribe. Of course, appreciate all of those tuning in on all the different audio podcast platforms. And after going out yesterday and extending Garrett Wilson just about 24 hours later, the New York Jets make Sauce Gardner the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. It is a 4-year, $120.4 million deal, $30.1 million per year, which is 0.1 million more than Derek Stingley, who previously held the highest paid cornerback money in the NFL. And Sauce also gets $85.6 million guaranteed in this contract. You've got to be fired up if you're a New York Jet fan, and I'm obviously fired up as well. This is a great day for the New York Jets, as we are now just 1 week out from the New York Jets reporting to training camp. Report day for the veterans will begin next Tuesday. The first practice will be on Wednesday, July 23rd, right before camp. Darren Muji, Aaron Glenn get ahead of both of these signings and get both of these cornerstone pieces locked up for the long term. And that is exactly where I want to start this episode. We'll get the Sauce, what he brings to the table, but what Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn have done over the last 24 hours is something that we haven't seen this franchise do very often. And that is getting ahead of two young cornerstone blue chip pieces and not waiting until training camp, not waiting until the regular season. No, they got two massive contract extensions done with two players that belong to be that should be here long term and are here long term. Two players that carry themselves the right way on and off the field. Their performance on the field, of course, speaks for themselves, but also what they're able to bring off the field, and even more importantly, in that locker room. You have two top 10 picks from the same draft class that have done exactly what you want them to do. Both rookie of the years. Of course, Sauce with the All-Pros. They have been some of the top players at their position. And what do? You reward them. Aaron Glenn said that earlier this year. He's in the business of keeping good players. The way you send the right message, the way you really start to build this culture and add on to this culture, sending the right message to the locker room is by doing this, extending your own, keeping your own homegrown talent around and giving them the contracts they deserve. That is what grown-ups and adult, well-run organizations do. Finally, just from the Jets' outside perception, you can look at this as two very respected moves by the New York Jets. Forever, this has been a Jet team that has gotten behind the eight ball with young talent, or they just haven't had the young talent to extend. And when they have, it's never worked out. This is finally different. You got ahead of it. You got ahead of these two players. And in my opinion, I think most Jet fans' opinions, you look at a year or two from now, these are going to look like bargains because they were able to get ahead of it. Massive props to Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. Heck of a job in their first 6 months on the job. And don't forget, they also re-signed Jamien Sherwood as well before he could hit free agency. That's another one of these young pieces they got done and kept him a New York Jet. So excellent job by Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn. They deserve a ton of credit. Does it mean the Jets are going to go out there and win 12 games this year? No, but they're doing grown-up things. They're going about this process the right way, and it's a breath of fresh air. How many years have we seen this go the opposite way for the New York Jets. Finally, they're making smart decisions with these young players and making these guys Jet for life, making these guys easy jerseys to buy, right? You're going to see the number 1 and 5 all over training camp this year, all over MetLife. That's important. There's something to that. It resonates with the fan base, right? Two guys that if they keep up on this trend are going to go down as all-time Jets, Ring of Honor Jets, elite players at their position, not only in the NFL right now, but when all is said and done, hopefully in Jets history as well. And they've already implemented themselves in portions of Jets history as well. This is a huge, huge day and an awesome job by Darren Mooj and Aaron Glenn to get these things done right before training camp, especially for this fan base, right? There's been a lot of feelings going into this season. There's nothing better than firing up your fan base a little bit by getting 2 cornerstone pieces locked up for the future right before training camp begins next week. And you also have to give, and I know we don't do this often, but Woody Johnson, he clearly let these 2 guys make these decisions. He broke out the checkbook. What is it going to take? They found out what it did. They negotiated. They got these deals done. Excellent, excellent day to be a New York Jet fan. You've got to be fired up. Now, when you look at Sauce, right, he becomes now the highest paid cornerback in NFL history, 0.1 million ahead of Derek Stingley. He'll be under contract now for the next 6 seasons. This actually won't kick in similar to Garrett Wilson's until 2027. And with that, we spoke about this yesterday with Garrett Wilson, but Sauce, similar to Garrett, these are the prime years of his career. Sauce, you're going to have him now for the age 25 season, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. He's just entering the prime. He's already got 2 All-Pros under his belt. Of course, both of them took home Rookie of the Year honors. Sauce, the only cornerback in NFL history to make back-to-back first-team All-Pros in his first 2 seasons in the league. And I think a lot of people forget. There's a lot of people, right? The Garrett Wilson signing was going to be a pretty close to an 100% approval rate. Sauce Gardner, I think, amongst the fans and around the league, was naturally going to be a little bit lower. But I think people forget, even Sauce last year, who we all agree, myself included, didn't have his best year, no doubt about it. But even in a down year, for his standards, which he set at an extremely high bar from his first 2 seasons, he was still amongst one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Not 49 tackles, 9 passes defended, 15 games played. Take a look at some of these other numbers. 12 forced incompletions, 6th. 9.4 snaps per target, 6th. 17.7 snaps per reception, 2nd. He only allowed 25 catches against last year. That was the least amount in the NFL. He was targeted the 2nd fewest times, and he ranked 6th in the NFL in catch rate against. That was in a down year. He was still that good. He was still near the top of the league. He was still a top 5 to top 3 cornerback in the NFL. And I've said it many times with Sauce Gardner. I believe he is going to be, there's a couple players, Sauce being one of them. And I actually wrote an article about this many months back after Aaron Glenn got the job. He is going to benefit out of all the players, arguably maybe the most of the Aaron Glenn hire. Aaron Glenn played corner. He played corner in this market. He played corner for this team. He had success. I also think the way Glenn runs his defense and this scheme fits to what Sauce does well, which wasn't the case, especially last year where the coaching was a complete disaster. Sauce is going to benefit from good coaching. He hasn't had that in his first 3 years. He has a guy in Glenn now who played the position for the team, played it at a high level. That's a big deal for Sauce. I expect him to take another jump under Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks. And since 2022, he has been arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. This, to me, was a no-brainer. Take a look at some other numbers. His 90.7 overall grade, first. 85.4 coverage grade, first. 43 forced incompletions, tied for first. A 50.9% completion allowed, first. 1.8 receptions per game, first. 21 yards per game allowed, first. 0.58 yards per snap allowed, first. 18.1% pass breakup per target, first. 67.5 passer rating against, third. I'm sure you can find other numbers and go down the list. He is an elite cornerback. He made 2 All-Pros. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year. In a down year, he remained as one of the top corners in the NFL during a down year. Get him the right coaching. Cough, cough, Aaron Glenn. Get him in this new defensive scheme. You're going to see a massive year for Sauce. And similar to Garrett, getting ahead of this was so important. The cap's only going to go up, which is going to make this look like a bargain soon. But the longer you wait, the more and more these guys would ask for. The Jets got ahead of it. That's huge. And essentially, when you break it down, because these contracts don't kick in until 2 years, essentially you're looking at 6 years, $150.3 million for Garrett. That's about $25.05 million per year. And then for Sauce, it's essentially 6 years, $151.23 million, which is about $25.2 million per year. That, of course, is this year, 5th-year option next year, and then 2027, both these contracts will kick in. And Sauce, of course, now leads the league. Ahead of Stingley, J.C. Horn, Jalen Ramsey, Pat Surtain. That's your top 5. Sauce leading the way. This is huge, Jets fans. Let's go. Let's go. Get fired up. 2 of your cornerstone pieces that if you want to turn this organization around and you want to start winning games are going to be a big part of it. Are going to be one of the biggest reasons this team turns it around. And Aaron Glenn as well, of course. Also, this coaching staff playing a big role. These guys have had so much success, both Sauce and Garrett, with no coaching, with no help around them. You hope they finally get the coaching right. I've said this many times. Even if this coaching staff is just average, they are miles ahead of what they had to go through, specifically last year. So, all the credit in the world to Darren Muji and Glenn for getting this done. Getting ahead of it. Doing something the Jets haven't typically done in their franchise history. Acting like grown-ups. Running the organization the right way in terms of going about these extensions. So, you got to be fired up. I'm fired up. Let's go, Jets. Jets, 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 Jets. Appreciate your support as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on these 2 extensions? Garrett's, any other thoughts on that? And the most recent, of course, here being Sauce Gardner. Appreciate you all. Until next time, Jets, Jets, Jets.